finally happening. We've been saying it for a year.
Yes,
but this is even bigger than we thought.
It is bigger. It is the biggest, best collection of Tomb Raider, because this is the Tomb Raider Definite Survivor Trilogy.
3 Tomb Raider games.
And not only the base game, because the first one is.
No, they, as far as we understand, they're all coming with all the DLC in this collection that is going to be free from the Epic Games Store for a week. Oh, sorry. Spoiler alert. It's happening in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So we know you're all excited. We've been saying that one of these Tomb Raider games is going to come free from the Epic Games Store. We've been saying it for a year. We never expected that all 3 games would be free at the same time for a whole week. If you claim them during this week, the first week of January 2022, you get to keep all 3 games in your library forever. The question is, what is Tomb Raider all about, Mikhail?
Well, it's all about Lara Croft, the main protagonist that raids tombs, shoots people, go into stealth sometimes, do a lot of things, actually.
Puzzles,
yeah,
murder,
like Indiana
raiding.
Jones, but with girl.
With big tombs.
Yes.
Yeah. And
But I need to correct this, because this is not a real definite Survivor Trilogy, because that exists only on consoles.
Right.
On PC, it is 3 separate games, a trilogy, but since it's all DLCs, it's called Definite Survivor Trilogy on consoles, and that's what it basically is, but it won't be called on PC like that.
No.
But it consists of Tomb Raider Definite Edition,
and Rise of the Tomb Raider 20-year celebration.
and it ends with Shadow of Tomb Raider Definite Edition.
Now, in the first one, you go to Japan, right?
Yeah, to Yamata Island.
Yeah. The second one, you spend the whole game, most of the game. You start in, I think, Syria, and then you spend most of the game in Siberia.
And then the last one, Shadow of Tomb Raider, starts in Mexico, but it's happening in Peru, in the mountains.
Yeah.
So all of these very different locations, they are not based only on one location. In each one, you're gonna see a change of scenery very often.
And the whole trilogy of games is Lara trying to track down her father's legacy and to stop Trinity, the evil organization that's trying to remake the world and basically, destroy everything and rebuild it. And they're bad, and they have lots of long moral speeches, and you have to shoot lots of them.
And it's all about going into these clues that leads to the past of these tombs and these treasures.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And while you're doing that, there are lots of puzzles in these tombs that you have to solve. In the beginning, they're pretty easy. By the third game, they actually get quite challenging.
And we need to tell that some of these are optional. These are called challenge tombs,
Right.
and you don't have to take them, but they are fun. And in some later games, they will give you some skills that otherwise you wouldn't be able to get from the skill tree.
That's the side quest, yeah.
Yeah.
One thing, we're not going to talk about these individual games very much because, we need to review them all now. But one thing that I really liked about the third one is it's the first time I've seen customizable difficulty settings that you can say, overall difficulty, but then how difficult do you want the combat to be? How difficult do you want the puzzles to be? How difficult do you want exploration to be? And I felt like I would really like to see more of that.
Yeah, I think we can say in the general that with each Tomb Raider game, from the first one to the third one, everything is almost changing to the better, like expanding with the difficulty, with the visuals a lot.
Yeah.
Because the first one is quite old now.
2013.
So from first one to the third one, there's a big difference.
Yeah. And each game, it's just a similar feel type
Yeah.
of game, of course. It doesn't change genre or characters,
Yeah.
but they're adding a lot of new things. By the third one, you're rappelling, you're swinging around a lot. Stealth is much more important. So it's an interesting journey, even for game mechanics, from the first to the last
And
game.
I would say, like, from the gameplay perspective, Lara at the beginning is like not as drastic. It goes like with the story, the more she travels, the more she angry gets and more brutal she gets.
Yeah. So the story is interesting to follow also. It's not a very deep story. I found the writing to be not very strong when it comes to the story, but it's a fun action adventure game. Like, Yeah, so
And
it
always
works for
there's
that.
something happening. You're always jumping from platforming, like behind us, to shooting, to exploring, to tomb raiding, and these action parts, like when there's everything is destroyed, and you have these like buttons to push.
But basically, you guys know what a Tomb Raider game is like. The only
believe.
the last question I think would be useful for people to know is, should you play them in order?
Yes.
Yeah,
I think so.
I think that's important.
I think so.
Especially because we're getting all three for free now. Play them in order for story and for
That's the
gameplay
best.
mechanic development.
But
Yeah.
since it's all very similar, if you play them like in 1 week, you might get enough of Tomb Raider because it's a similar concept.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
maybe
Could
some
you play
people.
them all in 1 week? It's like, how long to finish each one?
Each one is about 15 hours. The main story, of course, there are side missions. So you could.
Okay.
I mean, you
Yeah.
can finish it
If you
in
do
3
nothing
days.
else that week, yeah. So the big question:
Big question is, should you play this game as a trilogy? Do you think it's worth it, Kayla?
Yes.
this, just like this.
Especially because they're free now. I mean, this is in the genre of like linear, semi-linear action games, and it's not my most favorite series of games in that genre. I actually prefer Uncharted. Even Assassin's Creed I would put in that genre, the older Assassin's Creed games, and I kind of prefer some of the Assassin's Creed games. But especially with it being free, the visuals are great. I wish that there were more locations in each game, because it's like, first one is like island, second one is snow, third one is jungle. All that aside, this is an amazing amount of content. It's a lot of fun. This is what video games are all about. It's fun, swinging and shooting and raiding and leveling up your weapons and getting better and stronger and going on adventures. So yeah, you should play the Lara, the Tomb Raider trilogy.
And I believe there will be some people who will not enjoy Tomb Raider trilogy as much because it's a bit repetitive on the first game. Is very similar to second and the third one. So if you don't like first one, you're not gonna like the next one.
That's a good point.
And as Caleb said, it's very linear. We have some spots that you can like roam and explore a bit.
The third one is a bit more open world.
Yeah, but this is more like when you're watching a movie and there's a lot of these cutscenes and it's all pre-designed for you. This is not an open world, so that's what you should keep in mind. But as an experience, as a interactive movie, as a visual, because especially the third one for me, even now the visuals is stunning. You get to some places and you say like, wow.
Yeah.
And this is a pretty old game right now, and even on our like mediocre or intermediate PCs, it looks great.
Yeah,
it works. It's so smooth.
Yeah,
so
that's very
of
true.
course, yes,
Yeah.
you should try it.
With it being
especially
free,
with free.
if the trilogy still costs $50 or $60, we might hesitate. But with it being free, if you've claimed this, and you should claim it, yes, it is definitely worth your time. It is a really, really fun experience.
Because this is one of the best giveaways on Epic Games Store they ever gave away. And they gave it away like doing weekly free games, because this is going to be free for a whole week.
Until January 6th. But it's not going to end. This indicates very strongly that Epic Games will continue giving away free games in 2022. That's why you should stay with us, because maybe you missed GTA 5. Maybe you missed Hitman. Hopefully you're not missing the Tomb Raider Definitive Survivor Collection.
They will be so sad.
But stay with us. There's going to be a lot more. So subscribe, turn on notifications, and we hope that you enjoy the Tomb Raider Definitive Survivor trilogy.
And hopefully you enjoy some of our other reviews, because we are going to review all 3 weekly Epic games. So see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.